In this video, we're going to be going over all the different charts, summaries, and reports available in the menu in the Reports page. To get to the first charts, the treatment charts, you want to navigate over to the left side of the page and select Treatment Charts under Student Progress. At the top of the page here, we can select our student by selecting the drop-down menu and picking a student. If you would like to use the search bar, you could search any student and they'll come up. If you would like to show students only assigned to the current instructor you're logged into, have this box checked. If you'd like to show all the students in the organization, uncheck this box, and all the students in the organization will be shown. To the right here, we can select our range for which we'd like our data to be shown. On the left is our beginning date, and on the right is our end date. Here we can select our target for which we'd like our data to be shown. We have all our different programs shown in here. Here we can select the type of chart that we'd like to have shown. For TA programs, this is the only available type, but if we select a DTT program, we have the option between total trials, percent independent, and percent correct. Our first available chart is the total trials chart, which just shows the data for all the trials regardless of the percentage of the trials that were correct or not. This chart also doesn't account for the prompt level on each different trial. The next type of chart we have is our percent independent chart, which shows the percent of independent prompts we have over our trials. So here we have all of our prompts were independent, and then after we failed the baseline, it went down to 0. Our next type of chart is the percent correct chart. This chart shows the percent of correct prompts you have over your trials. The red vertical lines that are shown in the chart divide the different targets. So this was a DTT program. I'm going to show now a task analysis program in the charts. Task analysis programs only have the percent independent chart option, and each of these red vertical lines shows the different targets for the task analysis. If you'd like to change the chart type from a line chart to a bar chart, select the bubble to the left of bar chart, and your data will be shown in a bar chart. And if you'd like to download your charts as a PDF, select the Export as PDF button. The next chart we have is our one-day trial visualization, which shows how the student moves towards mastery in each trial they've done for a program. As you can see, when you first go into this, it seems pretty dense, so we can lower the range for which our data is shown to make the chart more clear. So now the chart is much more readable. On the left here we have our prompt level, and these are the different prompts. These are the different dots representing each step in our trial, and these are the labels. A green dot means it was incorrect, and a blue dot means it was correct. If there was a yellow dot, it would mean there was no response. Same thing as the previous chart. If you would like to download it or export it as a PDF, select the Export as a PDF button. Our next chart is Cumulative by Instructor charts. This chart shows the number of correct responses the student has acquired with all instructors. At the top here we have our filters. We can filter between the independent prompt level only or the show by date, which instead of showing by the number of trials at the bottom, it shows by the date on which the trials were done at the bottom. In the chart itself, we can see the number of correct responses as our y-axis, and then the number of trials as our x-axis. Within the chart, we can see it's divided up into blocks. This first block is with the first instructor. This second smaller block is with a different instructor, and this third block is back with the first instructor. This just shows which instructor was working with the student at the time of the responses. As with our previous charts, we can filter the range for which our data will be shown using the slider at the bottom to make the data more easy to read. Our next charts are the cumulative by program charts. For this chart, at the top of the page, we have our independent only filter, where we can turn it on or off if we'd like to only show the number of correct responses for independent prompt level. For this chart especially, because there's so much data and it has to condense really small over such a wide range, it is important to lower your range to a more readable size. The graph itself shows the number of correct trials by task for the student. On the y-axis, we have the number of correct responses, and on the x, we have the number of trials. So if we decrease our range, we can see that each of these boxes is actually a different target the student has had. and as they go through the different targets, the number of correct responses they have will increase, as well with the number of trials. To see what each target stands for, as you can see, this target has a T abbreviation. We can select Legend Details, and it will show what each of the different abbreviations stands for, which target. To download a PDF of the graph, select Export as PDF. Our next graph is the trials completed graph. This graph shows the number of trials completed for the student for each given target. So here we have white mouth. We can see that it has 284 trials completed, and it does this for all of the different targets the student has. If we would like to select the independent only filter as we could in the previous graphs, it's in the same place, and if you'd like to download the graph, you can select Export as PDF. Next we have our management reports. The first one is our instructor activity. This page lets you see the instructor activity for a given instructor. First, you need to select an instructor you'd like to see the activity for. You can select this filter to show only instructors that have students assigned. And then you gotta select the instructor you would like to see the activity for. Here we can see the day in which they interacted with the student that they did the programs with, the start and end time, and the elapsed time. The next management report we have is the staff comparison. The staff comparison page lets you compare your instructor to the average instructor with the percentage of correct trials with the students. Here we can select any instructor we would like, and here we see how this instructor matches up with the average. This instructor just happens to be average. The next management report we have is our percent correct by instructor. For this report, you can select a student, and you can use the Show Only Assigned Students filter to show the different instructors that work with their student, and the total trials that they've done with the student, and the percent of correct trials they've done with that student. And you compare it among the different instructors that student has.